Shalom. So, we just ended the feast of Matzah. I do understand that not all of us, I'm sorry, I'm driving, so you'll hear all kinds of outside noise. I do understand that not all of us celebrate on the same dates per se because the calendar is all jacked up, but understand it's not necessarily the when, but the why we are celebrating, okay? So let's keep that in mind. I don't want anybody talking about, oh, that's not the correct date, because if that's your mindset, understand you have the mindset of the Pharisees, okay? Because even Yahusha is saying that our righteousness has to far exceed that of the Pharisees, and part of the righteousness that the Pharisees had was, oh, they kept the letter of the law, kinda. They knew the times and all this other stuff, but they didn't know the spiritual aspect behind the Torah, which was Yahusha's main problem with them. And that's actually what I'm going to be talking about today. So, because it's been on my heart very heavy to talk about this. So, with the Feast of Matzah, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So, during the first Exodus, when they celebrated the first Feast of Matzah, they were told to keep their garments on and their shoes and to bake bread without leaven, because it takes leaven a while to rise, because it was meant to emphasize how quickly they would have to move whenever Yahuwah, said to move. Whenever Yahuwah through Moshe said it was time to just dip out, okay? So with that being said, a lot of people tend to, and it's human nature to do so, but a lot of people tend to focus on that aspect of it. And, oh, we got to make sure we have our clothes on, and we got to make sure we got our shoes on, and we got to make sure there's no yeast or baking soda or baking powder, any leavening agents in our house. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you are remembering the spiritual aspect of it. So you remember, if you go to Matthew 16:6, Yahusha is talking to his Talmudim, and he said, beware of the yeast or leaven, depending on the translation. Beware of the yeast of the Pharisees, okay? So the Feast of Matzah is actually speaking about that, the spiritual leaven that we take in. So if you remember anything, if you know anything about the Pharisees were taking the word of Yahuwah and they were mistranslating it or misinterpreting it because they did not have Ruach HaKodesh to explain to them exactly what Yahuwah was saying. So without Ruach HaKodesh, the Ruach Hokmah, or the Ruach of wisdom, we have no way of understanding what Yahuwah was actually saying when he said what he said. The only thing we can do is come from our own understanding, which we already know that Yahuwah says we're not supposed to lean to our own understanding. So you're already in error if you're doing this. And that's exactly what the Pharisees, the scribes, the lawyers, and the Sadducees were doing, which is why it was so many extra added rules and laws and regulations into Yahuwah's original Torah, because they didn't understand exactly what he was talking about. So the spiritual leaven is what you are supposed to be removing out of your heart. That's the house. Your heart is the house, okay? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the lips speak. And also it says out of the heart flow the issues of life. So your heart is very important. Also, we're supposed to have Yahuwah's Torah tattooed on our hearts, the tablets of our hearts. So our heart is very important. So we're supposed to remove all the leaven out of our hearts, okay? And then we know that Yahusha is the manna sent down from heaven. Go read John chapter 6, where he's talking to them. He's like, they were like, yo, we know our ancestors, they received manna in the wilderness. And he's like, yo, I am the manna. Like, go read the entire chapter. It's very enlightening if you have eyes to see and ears to hear. But yeah, so as we celebrate or observe these feasts this year, let last year be the last year that they were celebrated in error. Let's celebrate them understanding the spiritual meaning behind why Yahuwah wants us to do these things, okay? So that's it. That's it. Remove the spiritual leaven out of your heart. And here's the thing. You're supposed to be doing that at all times, not just during the feast, especially during the Feast of Matzah, but not just during the Feast of Matzah, okay? And the way you do that is by praying, fasting, confessing, and repenting. That's how you remove the fit, because Yahuwah will reveal things to you that you didn't even know was leaven in your life, spiritual leaven. And here's the thing. This year, when I observed with my family, we started looking on well, it was after the fact. We started looking on labels, and it was things that that you wouldn't think had leavening agents in them, that had leavening agents in them. And what I heard Ruach HaKodesh say to me was, he said, that's how narrow the path is. That's how circumspectly you have to walk with me. You have to be on guard at all times, because the enemy will sneak some leavening into a place you didn't think that it was supposed to be some leaven. And there you go. You done ate some leaven, and you were supposed to be eating off of the manna, the unleavened bread, the manna from heaven, who is Yahushua HaMashiach. He is the bread of life. Okay? So I just wanted to say that to you guys. I just want to put that out there because it's been on my heart very heavy to say so. And the only way to get Ruach HaKodesh to stop talking to me in my ear about it is for me to come on here and make a video. Okay? Anyway, I love you guys. And much shalom and ahav. And until next time, shalom aleichem.